My dear chosen ones, before we dive into this powerful revelation, I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to those who have generously supported this channel through super thanks. Your kindness fuels this mission, allowing us to continue sharing messages of divine wisdom and truth. And to each of you watching, whether you've donated or not, your presence here is no accident. Your journey, your hunger for truth, and your willingness to awaken to your divine calling mean more than words can express. Now, let's talk about why you are here. Have you ever felt like the world sees you as different? Have you noticed that while others chase after temporary pleasures, you long for something deeper, something sacred, something the world itself cannot offer? This feeling isn't random. It's not a coincidence. You are set apart. You are a chosen one. And with that calling comes something extraordinary. Two divine powers that have been within you all along. These aren't just skills. They aren't talents you can learn. They are sacred gifts woven into your very being, designed to help you rise, transform, and fulfill your highest purpose. But here's what many don't realize. Most chosen ones go through life unaware of these powers. They feel them, they sense they are different, but the weight of the world has convinced them otherwise. Have you ever doubted your own intuition, only to later realize you were right all along? Have you ever felt a force guiding you, nudging you towards something greater, even when you couldn't explain it? It's time to awaken. You didn't find this message by accident. You were guided here, because now, right now, is the moment you stop doubting, stop hiding, and start embracing the power that has always been yours. The world may have tried to silence your light, but deep down, you know the truth. You were chosen for a reason. So, take a deep breath, open your heart, let yourself receive this truth. Because once you step into these two divine gifts, your life will never be the same. If this message speaks to you, declare it in the comments with 999. Let the universe hear you. Because when you declare it, you step into a new reality, one where you no longer walk in confusion, fear, or self-doubt, but in clarity, strength, and divine purpose. Are you ready? Let's begin. God's chosen ones, you have been gifted with these two extraordinary powers to transform your life. Chosen. 1. Have you ever wondered why you keep rising, no matter how many times life has tried to push you down? Why, when others break under pressure, you find a way to transform your pain into something greater? This is no accident. It is your divine inheritance, a sacred force within you that has been there since the beginning. The first extraordinary power gifted to you is transmutation, the ability to transform energy, to take the worst and turn it into something extraordinary. But how do you know this power is real? Look at history, at the lives of those who came before you, those who were chosen. Consider Joseph in the Bible. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Genesis 37:23-28, 39:20. For years, he endured suffering that could have destroyed his spirit. But instead of being broken by his trials, he transmuted his suffering into wisdom, his rejection into redirection. He used his God-given ability to interpret dreams to rise from prisoner to ruler, second only to Pharaoh. Genesis 41:41-43. What others meant for his harm, God used for his elevation. And what about Nelson Mandela? Imprisoned for 27 years, he could have emerged full of hatred and vengeance. Instead, he transmuted his suffering into a vision for peace, becoming one of the greatest leaders of the modern era. He once said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." That is the power of transformation, the ability to take even injustice and turn it into something redemptive. Chosen one, you have this same power. How many times have you been knocked down only to rise stronger? How often have you turned pain into wisdom, failure into motivation, or darkness into light? That was not coincidence. That was the divine power of transmutation within you. But let's go even deeper. Jesus himself demonstrated this power in the most profound way. He was mocked, betrayed, and crucified. But in the ultimate act of transmutation, he turned the cross, the symbol of suffering, into the greatest victory of all time, the salvation of humanity. From death, he brought resurrection. From pain, he brought redemption. And that same divine energy exists within you. So here's the question. Are you fully embracing this power, or are you allowing life's difficulties to define you? Because the difference between the ordinary and the chosen is not in what happens to them, but in how they choose to transform their experiences. Chosen. 1. Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you endure, pain, betrayal, rejection, you always seem to rise again? It doesn't matter how deep the wounds are, how overwhelming the suffering is, or how hopeless the situation appears. Something within you refuses to break, refuses to surrender. That is not by chance. That is not ordinary. This is the mark of divine favor upon you. You have been gifted with something most people do not possess. The ability to transmute energy, to turn suffering into wisdom, and to take what was meant to destroy you and forge it into something powerful. Most people are controlled by their surroundings. They absorb negativity and allow it to dictate their emotions, their mindset, and ultimately their fate. When hardships strike, they collapse under the weight of their pain. When betrayal comes, they let bitterness consume them. But you were never meant to be like them. You are different. You are an alchemist of the spirit. Where others see loss, you find lessons. Where others see pain, you find purpose. Where others fall apart, you gather the pieces and rebuild yourself into something even greater. Consider Job, a man who was tested beyond what most could endure. He lost everything, his wealth, his health, his family. He was stripped of everything that once gave him comfort, left to suffer in anguish. Yet even in his despair, he did not curse God. Even when his friends told him to give up, he held on to his faith. And in the end, he was restored beyond measure. God gave him twice as much as he had before. Job 42:10. What was meant to break him only refined him. What was meant to destroy him only prepared him for something greater. How many times have you endured losses that felt unbearable, only to later realize that they were setting you up for something better? How many times have you thought you were losing, only to later see that you were being repositioned? Every battle you have fought, every tear you have shed, every storm you have endured, it was all part of the transformation. What if everything you once saw as rejection was actually redirection? What if the pain you carried was never meant to weaken you, but to awaken you? Think about Maya Angelou, a woman who overcame unspeakable trauma, yet instead of allowing her pain to silence her, she used it to shape her voice. Her words became a beacon of hope for generations. Her suffering transformed into power. Or think of J.K. Rowling, who faced failure, poverty, and rejection time and time again, yet refused to give up. The world told her no, but she transmuted every setback into a stepping stone toward the destiny that awaited her. What seemed like endings were only beginnings in disguise. This is why Romans 5:3-4 reminds us, we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. Every hardship is shaping you. Every challenge is molding you into something greater. You are not just surviving, you are evolving. But this power comes with a price. The reason you have faced so many struggles is because you have been given a gift, that requires testing. You are being refined, sharpened, strengthened. This is why your journey has been different from those around you. They were not called to carry what you carry. They were not meant to walk the path you walk. That is why they do not understand you. That is why you often feel like you are alone. But you are not alone. Every chosen one before you has walked this road. Every great leader, every spiritual warrior, every soul destined for something higher has endured trials that most could never imagine. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." You are not meant to stay on the ground. You are not meant to remain in darkness. You were born to rise. So the question is, will you embrace this power? Will you finally see your struggles not as punishments, but as divine preparation? Will you stop asking why you have suffered so much and start asking what you are being prepared for? The world will tell you to quit, to surrender, to accept an ordinary life. But you are not ordinary. You are chosen. You have been given the ability to take everything that was meant to break you and turn it into the foundation that elevates you. Nothing can stop you except your own doubt. Nothing can defeat you unless you choose to surrender. You have already overcome so much. Why stop now? The world is watching, heaven is watching, and your destiny is waiting. Now, rise. Chosen one, think back over your life. How many times have you stood at the edge of destruction only to find yourself still standing? How many times have you walked through fire, felt the heat of adversity burning away everything familiar, and yet somehow you emerged not weaker but stronger? You have lost relationships, friendships, opportunities, even entire versions of yourself. Yet every time you evolved, you grew, you became something greater than before. But have you ever wondered why? Why is it that when others break under the weight of their struggles, you seem to rise from the ashes, transformed? Why do the storms that were meant to drown you only end up washing away what no longer serves you? This is no ordinary resilience. This is the power of transmutation, the divine ability to take suffering and turn it into strength, to take rejection and turn it into redirection, to take pain and turn it into wisdom. Look at Moses. He was raised in Pharaoh's palace, yet destined to lead a people he barely knew. He lost his position, his identity, his sense of belonging. He fled into the wilderness believing his story was over. But in the very place he thought was the end, God transformed him into the leader he was meant to be. Moses was no longer just a man. He became a force of divine will, parting the Red Sea and leading an entire nation to freedom. Exodus 14:21 through 22. His exile was not his punishment, it was his preparation. And what about your own exile? The moments where you were stripped of everything you thought defined you, the seasons where you felt lost, wandering through the wilderness of your own life. Did you not find, in the depths of that suffering, the seeds of something greater? This is why James 1:2-4 declares, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Every challenge, every heartbreak, every betrayal, it was all a refinement process. Like gold purified in fire, you were never meant to remain in your raw state. You were always destined to be shaped, polished, and elevated into something far beyond what you once were. But now comes the shift. Up until now, you have been unconsciously transforming energy without realizing it. You have been enduring, surviving, rising, without fully understanding the power at work within you. But now, it is time to master it. It is no longer enough to simply react to life's challenges, to let energy flow into you unchecked. Have you noticed how easily the emotions of others try to invade your spirit? How negativity attempts to attach itself to you? How the chaos of the world constantly seeks to pull you into its storm? This is because you're not like the others. Most people absorb the energy around them without question, allowing their mood, their mindset, and even their destiny to be shaped by external forces. But you are called to master the energy around you, not be mastered by it. Now is the time to take full control of your power. No longer should you allow yourself to be manipulated by the negativity of others. No longer should you react unconsciously, letting external forces dictate your emotions and your path. You must now step fully into the role you were chosen for, as an architect of your reality, a guardian of your own energy, a conscious wielder of the divine power within you. Think of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who endured unimaginable suffering, stripped of everything, yet discovered the one thing no one could take from him, his ability to choose his response. He wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." This is what separates the chosen from the ordinary. The world reacts blindly, but you must respond with purpose. The world is controlled by external forces, but you must be the master of your own energy. The world submits to suffering, but you must transmute it into strength. This is why 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." So now I ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to stop letting life happen to you and instead start shaping life with the power inside you? Are you ready to stop carrying the burdens of others as if they are your own and instead stand firm in your own divine energy? This power has always been within you, but now it is time to fully claim it. No more unconscious reactions. No more absorbing energy that does not belong to you. No more allowing the world to dictate your destiny. It is time to step into the mastery of who you were always meant to be. Everything you need is already inside you. Now, will you use it? Chosen one. And the first step in this process is awareness. You must begin to recognize the energies around you for what they are, without becoming consumed by them. This means when negativity arises, whether from an external situation or from within your own thoughts, you must not suppress it, fear it, or react impulsively. Instead, you must observe it. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, "This is energy, and energy can be transformed." Because that's exactly what you're about to do. Most people fall into the trap of suffering because they ask the wrong questions. They look at their struggles and say, "Why is this happening to me?" This is the mindset of the unawakened. This is the mindset of someone who does not yet see the power within them. But you must ask a different question. You must ask, what is this trying to teach me? The difference between these two perspectives is the difference between being a victim and being a master. One keeps you trapped in suffering. The other opens your eyes to the divine wisdom embedded in every experience. Consider Esther in the Bible. She was an orphan, taken from her people, placed in a foreign palace with no certainty of her future. She could have asked, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, she understood that every moment of her journey had been leading to something greater. And when the time came to save her people, she boldly stepped into her power, declaring, "If I perish, I perish." Esther 4:16. She had been placed in her position for such a time as this. And so have you. Romans 12:2 tells us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." You must renew your mind. Every challenge, every difficult person, every setback is a lesson. The universe, under divine guidance, does not waste experiences. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Think of Nelson Mandela. He was imprisoned for 27 years, stripped of his freedom, and isolated from the world. He could have asked, "Why me?" But instead he transmuted his suffering into wisdom, emerging not bitter, but stronger than ever. He turned his time in prison into his training ground. And when he was finally released, he walked as a leader, not a broken man. What was meant to silence him became the very thing that made his voice unstoppable. And now, think about your own life. What trials have you endured that, in the moment, felt like unbearable suffering, but now in hindsight, you see they were shaping you? Can you look back at a moment of rejection, heartbreak, or betrayal and realize that it was actually a redirection towards something greater? Nothing has been wasted. This is why James 1:2-4 tells us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Your struggles are your training ground. Think of a warrior being prepared for battle. Would he be strong if he never faced hardship? Would he be skilled if he never had to fight? He must endure the weight of his armor. He must train tirelessly. He must be tested, because without the test, he is not ready for victory. And so it is with you. The hardships you have faced were never meant to break you. They were meant to forge you. Like a blade in fire, you are being refined, sharpened, strengthened, not because you are weak, but because you are destined to be powerful. Now comes the turning point. Up until now, you have been transforming energy without realizing it. You have been enduring, surviving, adapting. But now, it is time to master it. Have you noticed how the emotions of others try to invade your spirit? How negativity attempts to attach itself to you? How the chaos of the world tries to pull you into its storm? This is because you are not like everyone else. Most people absorb energy blindly. If the world around them is negative, they become negative. If circumstances are difficult, they lose themselves in despair. But you are different. You must be different, because you are not meant to be controlled by external forces. You are meant to be the one who transforms them. 2. Timothy 1:7 reminds us, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Do you understand what this means? It means you do not have to be controlled by the negativity around you. You do not have to react unconsciously. You do not have to absorb pain and let it define you. Instead, you must step into the mastery of your own energy. Think of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who endured unspeakable suffering in Nazi concentration camps. He had every reason to give up, to fall into despair. But he realized something profound. His captors could take everything from him except for one thing: his ability to choose his response. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms: to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. This is the power that is within you. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a master of transformation. You have been given the ability to take suffering and turn it into wisdom, to take pain and forge it into strength, to take the darkness around you and transform it into light. Chosen one, do you realize the unique gift you have been given? Have you ever noticed that when you feel deep emotions, whether pain, joy, sorrow, or love, you have the ability to turn them into something greater? You do not simply experience emotions. You transmute them into meaning, into beauty, into something that touches the souls of others. This is why so many spiritual souls are drawn to art, writing, music, healing, and creative expression. Creation is not just a skill. It is a divine channel for energy transformation. You are not meant to suppress what you feel. You are meant to create with it. Think of King David, a warrior, a leader, but also a poet and a musician. His psalms were not just songs. They were expressions of his deepest prayers, fears, and praises to God. When he was overwhelmed, he wrote. When he was in despair, he composed music. Through his creativity, he transmuted his emotions into something holy, something eternal. His words still inspire millions today. What if your emotions, your struggles, your joys were meant to inspire others in the same way? Now, think about history. Vincent van Gogh battled immense emotional turmoil, yet he poured his soul into his paintings, creating masterpieces that still move hearts centuries later. Maya Angelou took her pain and transformed it into words that have given strength to generations. Beethoven lost his hearing, yet he continued composing, proving that true creation comes not from perfect conditions, but from a soul that refuses to be silenced. What about you? Have you ever noticed that when you write, sing, paint, dance, or create, something within you shifts? Have you ever felt the weight of your emotions lifting as soon as you release them into creation? This is because energy is meant to move. It is not meant to stagnate inside you, building up like a dam about to burst. It needs an outlet, a purpose, a path to flow through. Psalms 30:11 reminds us, "You turned my wailing into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy." This is the essence of transmutation, turning sorrow into song, turning grief into growth, turning pain into power. If you ever feel overwhelmed, do not let your emotions consume you. Channel them. Write in a journal. Let your thoughts flow onto paper without restriction. Paint even if you do not consider yourself an artist. Sing even if no one is listening. Dance even if you are alone in your room. Let your energy move through you. Go into nature. Stand beneath the open sky. Feel the wind wrap around you and let your emotions flow with it. Touch the earth. Walk barefoot. Let your energy reconnect with something greater than yourself. Do you know why so many ancient prophets and mystics spent time in the wilderness? Because nature absorbs, cleanses, and transforms. What you carry inside you is not meant to be locked away. It is meant to be expressed, released, and reborn into something new. Ecclesiastes 3:4 says, "A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance." There is a divine rhythm to life, and you are a part of it. You were created not to be weighed down by emotions, but to shape them, mold them, and create with them. So I ask you, how will you channel your energy? What will you create? What masterpiece is waiting to be born through you? Your emotions are not a burden, they are a gift. Now use them. Chosen one, the final step in transmutation is release. You must learn to let go. This is where many struggle, because even after transforming pain into wisdom, suffering into strength, and heartbreak into clarity, they still hold on to the past. But true mastery comes not only from transformation, it comes from surrendering what no longer serves you. Have you ever noticed how some wounds seem to linger, how some betrayals still feel fresh even after years have passed? Why is it that even when we know we have grown, certain memories still weigh heavy on our souls? It is because we have not fully released them. Holding on to past pain, resentment, or anger keeps you tied to the lower vibrations of the past. It chains you to an energy that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. Imagine trying to climb a mountain while carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents an old wound, a past betrayal, a grudge, a regret. How can you ascend if you refuse to set them down? This is why Matthew 11:28 tells us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." You were never meant to carry all this weight. You were meant to be free. But how do you truly release? How do you let go of something that feels like it has become a part of you? Visualize a bright white light surrounding any negative energy in your life. Close your eyes and see it clearly. The pain, the resentment, the anger. See it being purified, turned into love, and sent back into the universe as a blessing. If a person has wronged you, instead of carrying resentment, bless them and release them, not for their sake, but for yours. Look at Jesus on the cross, betrayed, humiliated, abandoned, tortured, and yet his final words were not of anger, but of forgiveness. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Luke 23:34. He understood something most people never will. Resentment keeps you bound. Forgiveness sets you free. But forgiveness does not mean allowing those who hurt you to remain in your life. It does not mean ignoring the pain they caused. It simply means you are choosing not to carry it anymore. It means you are freeing yourself from the energy that was never meant to define you. Think of Nelson Mandela. After 27 years in prison, he had every reason to be bitter, every reason to seek revenge. But he chose a different path. He released his anger, his resentment, his pain, because he knew that true power lies not in revenge but in freedom. He once said, "As I walked out the door toward my freedom, I knew that if I did not leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I would still be in prison." What prison have you been holding yourself in? How much energy have you given to people who no longer think of you? How much weight are you still carrying from wounds that should have been healed long ago? Are you ready to be free? When you release, you elevate your frequency. You break free from the energies that once held you down. You rise into the fullness of who you were meant to be. This is why Isaiah 43:18-19 reminds us, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" You are not meant to stay in the past. You are not meant to carry yesterday's burdens into tomorrow's blessings. You are meant to rise. My dear chosen one, when you fully embrace the power of transmutation, nothing in this world can break you. This does not mean life will no longer challenge you. It does not mean you will never face struggles, hardships, or moments of doubt. But it does mean that no matter what happens, you will always rise higher. Because now you understand the truth. For so long, you may have believed that you were at the mercy of the energies around you, that when negativity surrounded you, you had no choice but to absorb it, that when pain struck, you had no choice but to suffer through it, that when darkness came, you had no choice but to endure it. But you see now, that was never the case. You are not a victim of energy, you are a master of energy. You no longer absorb negativity and allow it to consume you. You transform it into wisdom. You no longer dwell in pain and let it define you. You evolve through it. You no longer fear darkness and hide from it. You turn it into light. This is not something new. This power has always been within you. The difference is that now you are fully aware of it. Now you can consciously use it. Look at Jesus when he was tempted in the wilderness. Matthew 4:1-11. The enemy tried to break him, tempting him with power, wealth, and an easier path. But he did not fall. He did not react out of fear or weakness. He transmuted every challenge into an opportunity to stand stronger in his truth. And in doing so, he set the example for all who would follow. The example of someone who is not controlled by external forces, but who commands them with wisdom and divine authority. Think about Malcolm X, a man who transformed anger into awareness, oppression into empowerment. He did not allow the injustices he suffered to turn him into a victim. Instead, he used them as fuel to ignite a movement. That is transmutation in action. Or Frida Kahlo, who endured a life of immense pain and suffering, yet used her art to tell stories of resilience, beauty, and power. She did not suppress her pain. She created with it, turning it into something immortal. Now, look at yourself. Can you see the power within you now? Can you see that everything you have faced was shaping you, molding you, refining you? Can you feel that you are not the same person who once suffered, but someone far greater, someone unshakable, someone unstoppable? Psalm 18:29 declares, "With your help I can advance against a troop. With my God I can scale a wall." This verse is a reminder that nothing is too great for you. No battle is too strong. No pain is too deep. No challenge is too overwhelming. You do not crumble under pressure. You rise above it. You do not break. You transform. And now it is time to own it. This is the moment of decision. No longer will you let energy control you. No longer will you let your past define you. No longer will you fear anything that comes your way. Because now you know, everything can be transmuted. Everything can be turned into power. Are you ready? If so, declare it now. Not just in your mind, but out loud. Write it. Speak it. Let the universe hear you. I am an energy alchemist. I transmute all darkness into light. And remember, this is only the first power. There is still another extraordinary gift waiting to be revealed. Stay with me, because what comes next will change your life forever. My dear chosen one, now that you have awakened to your first extraordinary gift, the power to transmute energy, it is time to reveal the second divine gift that has set you apart from the rest of the world. This is not an ordinary ability. It is why you have always felt different. It is why you have seen and experienced life in a way that others cannot comprehend. You have been gifted with the ability to see beyond the veil. This is a power few possess, and even fewer understand. It is what makes you stand apart. It is why you often feel like an outsider. It is why you notice things others don't, why you sense truths that remain hidden from most, and why you experience life with an intensity that can feel both profound and isolating. What does it mean to see beyond the veil? It means that you are not bound by the illusion of the material world. Unlike most people, you are not limited to the five senses. You have been given spiritual sight, the ability to perceive energies, truths, and hidden realities that exist beyond what the human eye can see. Have you ever wondered why you can sense things before they happen? Why you can feel the emotions of others, even when they try to hide them? Why you recognize meaning in signs, patterns, and dreams that others dismiss as mere coincidence? Perhaps you noticed this gift as a child. Maybe you were the one who sensed tension in a room before anyone spoke a word. Maybe you could feel the unspoken sadness behind someone's smile, or sense the presence of something beyond the physical world. While other children played without a care, you found yourself drawn to deep thoughts, seeking to understand the mysteries of life. And then, as you grew older, you began to realize not everyone experiences the world as you do. You saw that most people walk through life blind to the deeper truths of existence, content with the surface, while you felt called to look beyond. You started to notice things that others overlooked, the way energy shifts in a room, the unspoken words in a person's eyes, the deeper meanings behind synchronicities and events. This ability is sacred. It is why you feel drawn to wisdom. It is why you have always searched for something greater than what this world presents as reality. It is why you have chosen a spiritual path, even when it sets you apart. But with this gift also comes great responsibility. Seeing beyond the veil means that you feel more deeply than most. You absorb energy in ways that others do not. You cannot be easily deceived because you can sense dishonesty, manipulation, and negativity before a single word is spoken. While others take people at face value, you see their true nature. And for this reason, life has not always been easy for you. You have struggled in relationships because you see the truth of people, even when they try to hide it. You have felt the pain of betrayal more deeply because you trusted that others could match the depth of your heart. You have felt misunderstood because your thoughts and perceptions go far beyond the ordinary. How many times have you questioned yourself, wondering if you are too sensitive, too deep, too different? How many times have you tried to silence your intuition, only to later realize that it was right all along? This is the burden of the chosen, to see what others do not, to feel what others cannot, to walk a path that is often lonely because the depth of your perception sets you apart. But do not mistake your sensitivity for weakness. This is the gift that prophets, visionaries, and great spiritual leaders have carried before you. It is the mark of those who are called to a higher understanding. Moses saw beyond the natural world to receive divine instruction. Joseph interpreted dreams that carried the fate of nations. Jesus himself perceived the thoughts of those around him, knowing their hearts even when they tried to deceive him. Matthew 9:4. This is why Matthew 13:16 tells us, "But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear." You were never meant to live like everyone else. You were meant to perceive, to understand, to see beyond. But now comes the question, how will you use this gift? Will you continue to doubt yourself, trying to fit into a world that was never meant to understand you? Or will you embrace the sight you have been given, stepping fully into the power of your divine perception? Because the moment you accept that your gift is real, your life will never be the same. Chosen one, you must understand, this gift is not a burden. It is not something that isolates you, punishes you, or makes life more difficult. It is a divine power, an ability that very few possess. And when you fully embrace it, your entire life will change. The greatest mistake chosen ones make is doubting their own inner knowing. How many times have you had a strong feeling about a person, a situation, or a decision, only to ignore it, and later realize you were right all along? How many times have you sensed something beneath the surface, but allowed others to convince you that you were overthinking, being too sensitive, or imagining things? That was never imagination. That was never just a coincidence. That was your intuition, your direct connection to divine guidance. You see, your mind perceives the world through logic, facts, and tangible evidence, but your spirit perceives truth beyond what can be seen. Your intuition is your higher self, speaking to you, revealing what your logical mind cannot always explain. It is God's whisper, nudging you toward the path of wisdom and protection. It is the language of the divine, guiding you through signs, feelings, and synchronicities. Consider the story of Daniel in the Bible. When he was taken to Babylon, he was surrounded by deception, manipulation, and corruption. Yet, through divine insight, he interpreted dreams, foresaw hidden truths, and guided kings with wisdom that no earthly advisor could match. His ability to see beyond the veil was not a curse. It was his greatest strength. Because he listened, because he trusted the divine messages he received, he was placed in positions of power and influence where others would have perished. Now, apply this to your own life. How many times has your intuition tried to warn you? How many times have you felt an inner resistance toward a person, only to later discover they were not who they claimed to be? How often have you ignored a gut feeling about a decision, only to regret it afterward? From this moment forward, stop second-guessing yourself. When something feels off, it is because it is. When your spirit tells you to move in a certain direction, listen. When the universe nudges you through repeating numbers, strange coincidences, or sudden insights, pay attention. Your intuition is never wrong. It is not just a feeling, it is a spiritual compass, pointing you toward the highest truth. It is your superpower, but a gift is only as powerful as the one who chooses to use it. Will you trust yourself now? Will you honor the guidance that has always been within you? Because when you do, you will never be lost again. Chosen one, the universe is always speaking to you. It is constantly sending you messages, guiding you, and revealing truths. But most people are too distracted to notice. The world around them is filled with noise, distractions, and endless movement, keeping them blind to the signs that are right in front of them. But not you. Have you ever repeatedly seen the same numbers, 1111, 222, 444, appearing in unexpected places? Have you ever been thinking about something only for a song, a message, or a stranger's words to suddenly give you the exact answer you needed? Have you ever had moments where events in your life felt too perfectly aligned to be mere coincidence? These are not accidents. These are divine signals. When you start seeing patterns, when the same message keeps appearing, when the universe aligns things in ways beyond logic, take it as confirmation. Nothing is random. Everything is connected. These synchronicities are proof that you are being guided. God, the divine, the universe, whatever name you choose, has been speaking to you all along. In the Bible, Joseph experienced this through his dreams. His visions were not ordinary. They were messages revealing hidden truths about his future and the destiny that awaited him. Though his brothers tried to silence him, though he was thrown into a pit and later into prison, his spiritual sight never left him. Because he trusted the divine messages he received, he was later placed in a position of great power, one that allowed him to fulfill his purpose and save his people. What if the signs you are receiving are preparing you for something just as great? But here is the secret. Your ability to see beyond the veil is strongest when your mind is clear. Most people cannot hear divine guidance because their thoughts are too loud. Their minds are cluttered with doubt, stress, fear, and distractions from the material world. But you must learn to quiet the noise. When you do, you will begin to perceive messages more clearly, and your gift will grow even stronger. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for this. You do not need to overcomplicate it. Start with just a few minutes a day. Find stillness. Breathe deeply. Allow your thoughts to settle. In that silence, you will hear the whispers of your soul. This is what Elijah experienced when he sought God on Mount Horeb. He expected to hear God in a great wind, in an earthquake, in a fire. But God was not in any of those. Instead, he came as a still, small voice. 1 Kings 19:11-12. And that is how divine wisdom comes to you. Not in chaos, not in noise, but in stillness. The more you practice, the more heightened your spiritual sight will become. You will begin to receive visions, insights, and downloads of wisdom that will guide your path. You will start to understand things without knowing how you know them. You will begin to feel a deeper connection to something greater than yourself, and life will no longer feel random. It will feel like a carefully woven plan unfolding before your eyes. Chosen one, because you are sensitive to energy, you must also learn how to protect yourself. The same gift that allows you to see beyond the veil also makes you more vulnerable to the energetic shifts around you. Have you ever noticed that certain people leave you feeling exhausted, even when they haven't said anything negative? Have you ever walked into a room and immediately sensed tension, as if something unspoken was lingering in the air? Do you often feel drained after spending time in large crowds, even if no one directly interacts with you? This is not your imagination. This is your spiritual sensitivity at work. Not everyone you encounter will have pure intentions. Not every place you enter will carry high vibrations. While others can move through life unaware, you feel things deeply. You sense energies, emotions, and hidden motives before they are spoken aloud. This is a sacred gift, but without boundaries, it can also become overwhelming. If you do not protect your energy, you will find yourself constantly depleted, carrying the weight of emotions that were never meant to be yours. How many times have you felt burdened by the problems of others? How often have you taken on the emotional weight of those around you, even when you had nothing to do with their struggles? You were not meant to carry the heaviness of the world. You were meant to stand in your own divine strength. To protect yourself, visualize a shield of divine light surrounding you before entering any space. Imagine this radiant force encircling you, allowing love, wisdom, and truth to flow in, while keeping negativity and lower vibrations out. This is not just a visualization, this is spiritual armor. The same way you can sense energies, you can also command them. Set clear boundaries with people who drain you. Have you ever noticed that some people seem drawn to your light, yet after speaking with them, you feel exhausted rather than uplifted? Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. Some will come to you seeking guidance, but they are not ready to change. Others may seek to take from you, knowingly or unknowingly, without ever replenishing. It is not selfish to protect your energy. It is necessary. Even Jesus withdrew from crowds to pray and renew his spirit. Luke 5:16. If he, the Son of God, needed solitude, why do you feel guilty for needing space? Cleanse your energy regularly. Just as you wash your body to remove physical dirt, you must also cleanse your spirit to remove energetic residue. When was the last time you intentionally released the weight of emotions that no longer serve you? When did you last take time to breathe deeply, to be still, to reconnect with yourself? Nature is a powerful cleanser. Have you ever noticed how much lighter you feel after walking in the woods, standing by the ocean, or simply sitting under the sky? Water carries purification energy, whether through baths, showers, or standing in the rain. Let it wash away what does not belong to you. Sound healing, meditation, and prayer can also restore your energy, bringing you back to your center. But now, here is something even greater for you to realize. This ability was not given to you for yourself alone. Why do you think you have been given this gift? Why do you feel drawn to wisdom, healing, and truth? Why do you naturally find yourself helping others, speaking encouragement into their lives, guiding them when they are lost? Because you are meant to be a light for others. Throughout history, those with spiritual sight have been called to guide others into truth. Moses received divine wisdom and led his people to freedom. Deborah, a prophetess and judge, used her insight to guide an entire nation. John the Baptist saw what others could not and prepared the way for something greater. Do you see the pattern? The ones who are given spiritual vision are never called to remain silent. This is why you feel called to help, teach, heal, or inspire. This is why, even when you try to walk away from your path, you feel an unshakable pull to seek higher truths. You were chosen to uplift those who are struggling, to speak truth even when it is difficult, to shine a light for those still walking in darkness. Chosen one, once you fully claim your spiritual sight, your life will never be the same again. You will no longer feel lost, wandering through uncertainty. You will no longer be deceived by illusions, led astray by distractions, or trapped by the false narratives of the world. Have you ever struggled with decisions, wondering if you were making the right choice? Have you ever doubted your instincts, only to later realize that your first feeling was correct? Have you ever sensed something was wrong before you had evidence to prove it? That doubt ends today. When you embrace your gift, you will begin to see the signs clearly. You will navigate life with divine wisdom, not through guesswork, but through spiritual insight. You will know who to trust and who to walk away from before their intentions even unfold. You will sense opportunities before they arrive and recognize the doors that are meant for you to walk through. You will receive messages and guidance that will lead you exactly where you are meant to be. This ability is not new. It has been placed in the greatest spiritual leaders throughout history. Think of Harriet Tubman, the woman known as the Moses of her people. She was more than an abolitionist. She was guided by divine visions, sensing danger before it came, leading hundreds of enslaved people to freedom through the Underground Railroad. When asked how she managed to navigate such dangerous terrain, she said, "I always told God, I'm going to hold steady on you, and you've got to see me through." She saw beyond what others could, because she trusted the guidance placed within her. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." This is the power you now hold, the ability to see what others cannot, to walk a path not based on fear, but on faith. You are not meant to be blind in this world. You are meant to see. Now, it is time to fully embrace your vision. Are you ready? Chosen one, now you stand at the threshold of something truly extraordinary. Today, you have been reminded of the two divine powers that have always been within you, the ability to transmute energy and the ability to see beyond the veil. These gifts have been with you since the moment your soul entered this world. But now is the time to fully awaken them. Because the truth is, the world needs you. Yes, you. You may have doubted your importance. You may have questioned your purpose. You may have felt small in a world that often tries to dim your light. But listen to me carefully. You were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to walk the same path as the rest. You were never meant to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were never meant to ignore the calling in your soul. You are here for something greater. Every great leader, every visionary, every world changer has faced a moment where they had to choose to rise, to embrace who they truly were, even when the world tried to silence them. Think of Nikola Tesla, the brilliant inventor who saw beyond what others could comprehend. He once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." His ability to perceive reality beyond the material world led to innovations that changed humanity forever. Or Mother Teresa, a woman who felt an unshakable call to serve the forgotten. She saw what others overlooked, the suffering of the poor, the abandoned, the unseen. She dedicated her life to bringing light into the darkest places. She did not let the world convince her that she was too small to make a difference, and neither should you. And everything you have experienced, the hardships, the solitude, the struggles, the betrayals, none of it was meaningless. Every painful moment, every challenge, every disappointment was shaping you. Every storm was refining your spirit. Every setback was preparing you for this exact moment, because now you are ready. Isaiah 61 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Look back at your life for a moment. Can you see it now? Can you see how every step, every lesson, every trial was leading you to this realization? Do you now understand that the struggles were never meant to break you? They were meant to activate you. Your soul has always known this truth, but now your mind and spirit are aligning with it. This is your time. No more playing small, no more doubting yourself, no more suppressing your light, because you were chosen for this. And now, the world is waiting for you to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Beloved chosen one, you have been gifted with these two extraordinary powers for a reason. Not everyone has them. Not everyone can do what you can do. Not everyone was called to this path. But you have been entrusted with the ability to transmute all energy into light and the ability to see beyond the veil. And so, I ask you now, will you step into your power? Will you own your ability to turn every challenge, every setback, every moment of darkness into something greater? Will you trust your spiritual sight, allowing it to guide you toward the divine path that has always been waiting for you? Or will you continue to hesitate, to question, to wait for a sign, when the truth is, this message is your sign? This is your confirmation. This is your moment. It is time to step forward. Even if your journey feels lonely at times, Remember this, you are never alone. There are many of us awakening right now across the world. We may not always cross paths physically, but our spirits are connected. We are a family of light. We are rising together, preparing to bring change, to shift energies, to awaken the world. And I promise you, as you walk in your divine power, the right people, the right opportunities, and the right guidance will find you. You do not have to chase them. You do not have to force anything. Simply walk forward with faith and watch the universe align in your favor. Trust, believe, and keep walking forward. If this message touched your heart and you feel guided, you can support this channel through Super Thanks. Even a simple $1 donation is precious to me and helps us continue spreading light and wisdom. But whether you donate or not, please know that I am deeply grateful for you. Your presence, your energy, and your time are already a blessing. And if you haven't yet, subscribe for more divine wisdom to guide you on your journey. Because remember, you are not here by accident. You are chosen, you are powerful, and your time is now. Until next time, stay blessed, stay awakened, and keep shining your light.